Attention, all avid collectors and fan cave enthusiasts. We are excited to bring the latest updates on the highly anticipated fan cave auctions presented in partnership with JRS Auctions. If you're seeking that perfect addition to your fan cave or unique collectible, JRS Auctions is your ultimate destination. Led by Joel Robichaux and his dedicated team, they offer a vast array of treasures and memorabilia that will surely captivate your heart.
From classic cars and boats to trailers, RVs, and ATVs, they have it all. Additionally, their inventory features an eclectic mix of collectible signage, vintage gas pumps, figurines, tools, and wall decorations spanning various periods of time. Brace yourselves, as exploring their extensive selection may result in your wallet taking a hit. To participate in this week's auction, head over to jrsauctions.com and register to place your bids. Don't miss out on the opportunity to acquire the ultimate addition to your fan cave collection. Happy bidding. Welcome in, friends, to another episode of Stickers and Scuffs. This episode is presented by our friends at JRS Auctions. Be sure to check out Fueled Up February. That's this sale going on from now until February 18th. Graydon Bunn alongside Cam K as always. Cam, this one's been a long time coming, but I feel like this is the right time for Stickers and Scuffs to go Wilds. Let's welcome in the driver of the number 14 Wilds Printing Superstock, calling Delaware Speedway home, Cody Wilds. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good.
Doing good.
Yeah. Cool. Seems like things are busy around your place. You got some partnership announcements coming out on the regular, and I see you're in the shop there right now. How's things?
Well, like you said, it's busy. A lot of working on the car, a lot of talking to some partnerships, seeing a lot of actually talking to old partnerships. We haven't really looked at any new ones yet, but we're going to start heading towards that way. Cool. And thankfully we're lucky enough to have our dedicated sponsors.
Good.
And yeah, I'm in the shop. We got the race car behind me. I don't know if you can do that or not, but
yeah,
the race car is behind me.
Nice. Perfect backdrop.
How's how's everything feeling? Because I want people to talk about. We want to talk about a little what happened last year, because there might be people that don't know. First off, you're one tough son of a bitch. We'll just say that first. Because when your dad shared with me the list of injuries that you acquired and that you still got out of the car under your own power, I was floored. And and he actually shared me your in-car video. Okay, so you raced at Delaware Speedway last year. Was that your rookie campaign in the Superstocks?
Yeah.
Pretty routinely, what's your regular speed going around the Superstocks at Delaware? Like, how much are we talking? Lap times even?
We're about 20-second laps. I have no clue what that would be in speed. I'm gonna guess it's probably up there though.
Yeah. So So what happened was was it contact or something broke that led to contact?
So what happened was, going into the corner, I actually lost my brakes. So I was kind of, as soon as I felt that I had no brakes, I was kind of sitting there going, oh, well, I guess we're just going to deal with what happens now. And before I knew it, I was in the wall and my legs were hurting a lot.
So the extent was a break in both, right?
So they think that my right foot was fractured, and I had 6 bones in my left foot broken, or left foot and leg.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, all right. Why the hell are you getting back into a race car, Cody?
I don't know, man. I asked myself. It's like a drug. That's my favorite thing to say. It is a complete drug.
Yeah.
As soon as you get into it, it is just, you're hooked.
Yeah. No qualms about it, though, eh? Didn't matter. I mean, we saw you at Delaware for the Pinty's race last year. A couple weeks after it happened, you were there in walking boots, and didn't matter. You were going to be there, no, regardless, right? And, so obviously, the Superstock division, you and Brody made contact in that hit. I think he was all right, but when you hit, did you know right away that you broke something, or did it take a while? Like, because I imagine your adrenaline is just like firing.
So actually, when me and Brody made contact, nobody actually knew to the extent that we made contact. My tire marks were found inside of his car. So he also had a terrifying hit that could have ended very badly. We are very thankful that nothing did happen. Yeah. But as soon as I hit the wall, honestly, I was more worried about letting my dad know I was all right. Something happened with the mic, so they weren't working. Dad had no feedback on. So he saw the ambulance come out, me come onto a stretcher, and he was kind of going ballistic, right?
Yeah. I've heard your dad tell that story.
I've actually heard it on the in-car. You can hear Cody say, "All right, it's fine, it's fine." Like, you having to calm him down after you were in the wreck. I love that.
That's, you know what? My dad's nerves are so high when he's watching me. Yeah. That's kind of been my instant thing throughout my entire racing career. Is just get out and make sure my dad knows I'm all right, so he can finally take his breaths.
Yeah.
I swear, man, the one time I got into a wreck, I was sideways on the wall, and dad was like on top of the fence hanging there, and I came around, I ran around into because we were at Grand Bend, so they have the gate opening.
Yeah. So
I ran around to him, and man, I could have sworn he just ran a marathon. The panting he was doing trying to get his breaths back.
Oh man. One thing that we and lots of people that know you and that we love about you, man, is that when you were sidelined from that wreck and you were casted up, but you had the positive mindset. You had the thumbs up attitude and had a smile on your face all the time, and you didn't shy away from coming back to the racetrack. You were always there still and letting people know that you were like still relevant part of it and wanting to be part of the action. And you were really like forthright with everybody too when you were like sharing the videos with your injuries and stuff like that. Is that just your nature? Like you seem like a pretty happy-go-lucky, easygoing guy. Like, for a guy that just got dealt a real awful hand there, like, you sure kept your head held pretty high.
You know, honestly, in the backgrounds, I was a lot more hurt than what people saw.
Yep.
But after a bit, you kind of just throw your hands in the air and say, what can you do about it now? You just got to move on, really, right?
Yeah, got to heal up.
Yeah, and my main focus was next year, I got to go into the year with absolutely no fear for me to get into that car, right? Because after a hit like that, every driver is going to have that thought, oh, shit, am I going to be scared to get back into this car, this, that? And almost immediately I crossed that off. I was like, yeah, I could get back in the car tomorrow with the cast on and I'd be fine to drive, right?
Yeah.
I was so gung ho just to get back in the car. We got this new car, and I'm not kidding you. I went up and down that lane with my cast on just to see if I could do the clutch with my cast so I could get out for practice.
Yeah. Oh man, just itching, right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and last year it was a tough year at Delaware Speedway for issues. Like, you weren't the only one. You, Doug Stewart, Connor Van Steensel, Steve McCall, like the amount of stuff that happened that was terrifying, really.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever find out why you lost brakes? Was it a failure of sorts? Or, like, I mean, I guess you could go back and you say you're never going to find out what happened, right?
Yeah. So my guess is I got I made contact with someone a couple laps prior.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if when I made contact, it maybe pinched a line and it was slowly leaking out. And that was maybe what caused the brake failure. Or the master gave out. That's a very, very possible option too. We really don't know, but that was just our guesses on what happened. But yeah, still to this day, and I'm assuming for years on, we won't know.
Well, so where does Cody Wilds racing start? Because you came up with a lot of big names in racing. I believe it was Grand Bend that you started doing. Was it oh, I'm not gonna remember the names of the junior sprint. Was it junior sprints?
Junior sprints, yeah.
Junior sprints. Okay. Yeah. So how did your whole racing career get started, Cody?
Well, actually, as you guys know, I'm pretty close with Kenny McNichol. Yeah. And before I started, Dad and Kenny just started talking over. They were doing some business together. Kenny said, well, Dad had been going to Delaware for some years, but Kenny mentioned to Dad that he races. Well, Dad's like, oh, well, we're gonna go watch Kenny. So we went out on a Friday night, watched Kenny. He actually ended up winning the race.
Nice.
That was a cool part of it. We came home. It was the next day. I was like, Dad, I want to get into racing. I liked that a lot. I want to get into it. You're not getting into racing, blah, blah, blah. Oh, whatever, go to school that day. I come home and Dad's on the phone with someone. And I was like, well, who's that? And he goes, oh, don't worry about it. It's just a customer. We got to go for a ride to Exeter. I was like, okay, yeah, sounds good. So I hop in the car and we go for a ride to Exeter. And we go in and we were actually at my cousin's house and he had a sprint car in there. My dad told me hop in it. So I got in it. I was seeing just kind of, I kind of had an idea that it was going to come home with us, but I didn't at the same time.
Right.
So I was just in so much joy. Dad goes, well, do you like it? And I was like, yeah, I love it. And he goes, well, the good thing is coming home with us then. I was like, what? No way. And so we decided we're going to head home. I think they dropped the car off because we hadn't got a trailer yet. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the next weekend, Dad brought me out to practice the car. And after that, it just kind of went from there. It just turned into a more of a regular thing. There was a time that me and Dad were at the track 5 days a week, like either racing or practicing. I raced 3 or 4 different cars each week. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, and awesome. Grand Bend, it's funny because I feel like it doesn't get enough love from a lot of racing fans. And from what Graydon, I mean, how many drivers have we had on this that they started their career at Grand Bend? So who were you racing with at Grand Bend?
Who was I racing with? So, when I first got into it, I was racing with, I think, Matt Thompson. I was racing with Haley McNichol, And for some reason, everybody's slipping my mind here. Oh, Kyle Steckley. I raced with Kyle Steckley. I think he started the same day as me. And then Chase Pincinel. We got little Chase Cameron we raced with. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he was a superstar at Grand Bend. Like, that kid was fast.
Yeah.
I think he's gone real big with his baseball now. But anyways, sorry. And then through the year, after the years started coming, you guys know McKenna Robson.
Mm-hmm.
Raced with her, Austin Arnell, Haley again, Ethan Orr. We raced with Connor Ellis. Connor Ellis was all through my junior late models, my mini truck. Then we went to like Logan White was in the junior late models. We had Kyle Steckley eventually came to the junior late models before he moved into the super or the mini stocks.
Yeah.
I think the mini stocks.
Yeah.
Damn, what a class.
Yeah. Like, talk about a talent farm. Holy cow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And so what would you say, why, okay, let's say somebody wants to get into racing. Why start at Grand Bend?
Grand Bend is what I like to say that if you can drive Grand Bend, you can drive any track.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I got so many laps on that track, and I'd like to say I've done pretty good in my racing career. And after Grand Bend, like going to Sauble or Flamborough, Sunset, you know, that all those tracks are so much easier for me because I already had all of that experience at Grand Bend. That dog's leg at Grand Bend, it teaches you a lot. Without you even knowing, it teaches you a lot. Yeah, I'd say Grand Bend is the best track because it is so hard, but it's just such a friendly atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is, you got several drivers that will come up to you throughout the night and point tips out. I had Mackenzie Hamilton. It was one of my first times racing, and she came up to my car, and she was just small little things that you would never think of. She was pointing out to me, and those small little things can mean anything up to a tenth of a second, right? And everybody that races knows a tenth of a second doesn't seem like much, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, and I remember going out, I think probably 6 to 10 times a year, a brand new driver would come to me. Their parents would come to me, and I'd go out and I'd stand on the track and I would show the drivers where the line is. You know, this is the bottom of the track. This is where I'm going to stand. You got to get in between. And that, right? Like, and I had Brad Clark do that for me. I had Chris Fiddler do that with me. Like, I had Sean Thompson do that with me. I had so many people do that with me. And I'll go out to Grand Bend and I still see people doing that, like going out and showing the new drivers how their lines should be, blah, blah, blah. And that is exactly why I think Grand Bend is a great starting spot for racers.
That's awesome. Good answer, man.
Yeah. I like that. That was good. And then you go from Grand Bend, which is, you know, a quite slow track, and now you're racing up at Delaware, which is fastest track.
Yeah.
And in a division where, you know, I would argue I don't think there is much argument here, actually, really. It probably is the most difficult super stock division in all of Ontario. I mean, I'm looking at just last year, you had to be up against Carson Nagy, Lane Zardo, Jay Dewar, Trevor Culver, David McCullough, Brody Rickwood, Nick Ramsey, Ryan Dyson, Ryan Bryant, Pete Vanderwist Jr., Lonnie Thompson, Sean Chenoweth, Brad Collison, Connor Van Steensel, Chase Pincinel, Hudson Nagy, Ryden Lapsovich, our good buddy Kevin Trevelyan, Rick Verburn, and then your buddy Ethan Orr out there as well. Like,
Yeah, man, you can't help but learn some stuff when you're around town like that, right?
Like,
Whether you're driving,
insane.
whether you're just absorbing information, like, oh my God.
I'd say probably, if not all, 95% of those drivers came up to me at some point throughout the year and just pointed something small out to me.
Excellent.
Go into your corners a little bit higher and get off the throttle earlier. I had a huge problem at the start of the year with holding it in really deep, and I wasn't able to get off the corner, right? And it actually took Trevor Culver coming up to me and saying, hey, man, you're actually slowing yourself down by doing this. So take it a couple notches back.
Back your corner up a bit. And
And I gained, I think, like 0.3 of a second off of that by itself.
It's so crazy when someone like points something out to you, and then like when you can like do it, and then it's just like, oh my God, like you can feel it, like the difference, right?
Yeah, and I felt like I wasn't fighting my car so much, you know, like going through the corners, I didn't feel like I was gonna slide right up, right?
Yeah.
It was insane. But at the same time, you run side by side with them, they got no problem moving you if they need to.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So they'll give you all the good treatment outside of the track that you need. But as soon as you get helmets on and into the race cars, like
all business.
Some of the drivers you'll ever race against. Like, I mean,
it's a different kind of education at that point, right?
Like I'll be completely honest with you. I went into the super stocks, I went into the legends after my junior late models and the trucks and stuff, and I was a pretty winning driver in those cars. And I thought I was going to go out there and kick ass. As soon as I stepped foot in that car, I thought I was going to kick ass. No, that was not the case at all.
You have to readjust the goals a little bit, right?
I was like out there, and I was like, I want a feature win this year, blah blah blah, and then I was like, yeah, I want a top 5 this year.
Well, and I think as a driver, you'd probably agree that actually is probably a good thing, though, right? Like it makes you realize real quick, oh, this shit ain't going to be as easy as I thought it would. And now Superstock's even more than Legends, I would say, is even more like that. And you had a couple of tough races to start in Superstock. I believe that was one of the first weeks you were out there with, I believe, I'm not sure if it was the first or second week, you and Trevelyan and a couple other guys were all in like one big one. And it's just like, shit, this sucks, right? Like, this is not how I wanted to start everything going. And I mean, we talk a lot about the mental health aspect here on the show because it's very important in all walks of life. But when you're going, and this is, I think, what's really important is we see those names like Harrison Burton and Todd Gilliland that come from like the ARCA series and they win all the time.
Yeah.
And they're up to the Cup series and they win never. And you got to wonder, like, how does your confidence feel after that? And how do you give yourself enough? Like, you're going to be getting a completely different level now. You're coming in off of a season that you had to end early. So how do you boost your confidence back up in time for race season?
You know, man, my confidence has been hurting for quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And it was actually all the people around me. I said a couple weeks ago, I was like, man, if I have another year like last year, like next year's like last year, I'm hanging up the gloves. I can't afford that. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. And it was everybody around me that was like, no, you got a lot more skill than you think. You just had a bad year. Like, you need to push through, you know? And so the only reason my confidence is up for racing is because of the other people in racing. Without them, my confidence would have been down to hell. So
yeah,
it's so true.
Know what that's like.
Yeah,
we know what that's like.
Yeah, that's so true, and that's what we speak to so often and on the show with lots of guests saying that it's it's kind of as important as having a fast race car is you can't put it all together if your head's not in it, and having the people around you to be the cheerleader, to be the disciplinary, like to rein you in when you need it or whatever the case may be is super important. You got a new car sitting there behind you. Talk a little bit about what your goals are for 2024 and a little bit about the car.
Oh, he stole that question. Beat me
So
to it.
Sorry, bud.
I'm gonna go back to the I'm ballsy. I want a feature win this year. I don't think I'm gonna leave the track without a feature win this year. I got my mind set to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I get a feature win, I'll be happy. Other than that, my goal is just keep a clean car. You know, Rubbin's racing, that's always gonna happen, but just keep off the wall. That's really all.
I'm sure that'll keep the old man a little happier and his heart rate in check too, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm sure he'd be that.
Yeah, let's learn a little bit about the car too, because it is a new car to you. Obviously, the one that you had last year, it went
Solid
for something.
piece.
What was that car going to be salvageable at any piece, or was it was done?
It maybe would have been salvageable if the middle of the frame was bent too, so I guess we couldn't even really have done that.
No.
We had the cockpit bars were broke from that, so that car we got a handful of parts off the thing that wasn't broke. Like we had our fuel tank and just stuff like that wasn't messed up that we could take out.
Yeah.
And the entire car was scrap metal.
So where's this car from?
This car is from Colton Everingham. So we went up to Peterborough, and me and Dad were just kind of sitting on the back burner. We didn't know if we were gonna build a new car for this next race season. We didn't really know what we were gonna do yet. We were talking about getting back into the Legends for a bit, but we decided to stay in the Super Stocks. Super Stocks are in a whole new animal. I find them a lot more fun than the Legends personally. But yeah, so we went up to Autumn Colors, and I was just kind of, limping around, doing my thing, had the cast on, also just kind of taking it easy. And next thing you know, Dad came up and was like, "Well, I bought a car." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "I don't know if I should tell your mom yet or not."
I remember that.
I was like, "Oh, probably not." But
no,
what?
Probably not.
And we're sitting in the McNichol trailer, and he goes, "Well, do you see the 48?" I was like, "Yeah, Colton's car." And he goes, "Well, yeah, I think that one's coming home with us this weekend." I was like, "No shit, eh?" And I went immediately. I limped my way over there to look at the car, and just I'm telling you, man, you could have eaten off the motor at the track. Like, it just clean. Me and Dad went through the entire car and cleaned everything again, but there really wasn't much for us to clean. Like, there was obviously your dirt from being on the track. He did drive the car that weekend, right? So that's acceptable.
Yeah.
But other than that, there was really nothing that we needed. Like, they didn't skip out with that car at all. Like,
yeah, Colton does stuff right, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, like, man, the seat was shiny.
And way in the back of the car too.
Yeah, I remember trying to drive that thing to the trailer.
Yeah.
And I was driving like this. Up over there. And I was already leaned up on damn near on the steering wheel. So
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a struggle.
Yeah. Well, you got her looking pretty good now. Your dad's been playing with was teasing a couple of the different design ideas. You settled on the yellow and black. It looks awesome. Kind of matches kind of the family colors there and everything too.
Yeah.
Give us a rundown of your partner lineup so far, Cody.
So far, we got Oneida 41. That's going to be the big sponsor this year.
Nice.
We got Andrika Elevating. We got Les McDonald. We got Hanson's. We got McNichol Welding. We have Ashwood Concepts. So I don't want to miss anybody here. We got 80 Trolls. I'm gonna get up and take a look at the.
So you got the ultimate cheat sheet right there.
We got Crosslink laminates. We got Englewood Mechanical, and we have M&M Painting. That is our this year's lineup so far. We have word that there's gonna be some more people joining us, but that's not for sure yet. So, but so far, I'm gonna say that we got a good lineup going. Like I'm extremely happy. Every single one of them I went to talk with, and they're just awesome people. I try to keep regularly going and talking to them. I want more of a friendship with them than a can I have your money and leave kind of thing, right? So,
yep.
Man, I'm thinking next week I'm going to one of my sponsors to go and play dinky cars with his kid, because he says his kid's just sitting there playing dinky cars on his floor saying they're Cody Wilds and all that. So I think I'm going to surprise the little guy by going and playing dinky cars with him.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
they just
fantastic to hear, actually. I love hearing that. That's how I started loving racing, was playing with dinky cars on the floor and on the kitchen table, right? So
that could make a lifelong fan out of that kid, bud.
It really is. Yeah, it really is, that type of stuff. And we're excited to announce, obviously, that Cody is part of the S&S Racing family in 2024.
How could I forget you guys?
Well, I'm never gonna forgive you.
Not want to forget them.
He was going to be part of the 2024 racing family.
Go to that now. It's
gone. Cody, though, we absolutely love your personality. We love what you bring to racing, man. It's important because, one of the things that we want to try and get away from is racers not being approachable, racers not being, on social media. It's a very important thing to try and get partners into the series and get more and more interest in racing, and the more we get to show the personalities, and that's why we're really glad that you were on this episode, and thanks to our friends at JRS, Joel Robichaux and team. If you want to go and pick up your own super stock of sorts to drive on the road, you can get yourself a nice beautiful classic car at Jrs Auctions. Segway genius right here. Boom boom. Wildman, how can they follow you on social media?
So we got our website is CodyWilds14.com.
Mm-hmm.
We got my racing Facebook account is Cody Wilds.
Wildman Cody Wilds.
Wildman Cody Wilds Racing. Yeah, sorry.
Gotcha. Got you covered, bud.
And then I think our TikTok is the same as our Facebook, Wildman Cody Wilds Racing.
Cool.
And that's the one that you guys definitely should check out, is the TikTok. Great content on there. And that type of stuff that us racing fans go crazy for. More and more content. Make sure you go out there, support Wilds Printing, support Cody Wilds. Cody, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. We look forward to you seeing you on the racetrack this year and in tip-top shape, going out competing for wins and kicking the pants off some of the other S&S Racing family members out at Delaware Speedway. I know Ryan Dyson's going to be somebody you're going to have to compete for wins with. I know he didn't have a good season last year, so he'll be a testy for sure, and a brand new car out there too. So we'll definitely look forward to it. But this is Cody Wilds here on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. We'll catch you all next week.